Hello. I am the Linux Mensch. Today, I'm going to take a Debian install and add Arch Linux to it as a dual boot. So let's get to it. Right now, I'm in a virtual machine of Debian. In fact, this is the virtual machine of Debian that I used in my last video where I showed you how to install DWM from source in Debian. That's besides the point. And of course, I'm going to do all this in the virtual machine, but this will work in a bare metal computer as well. So like I said in my introduction, this is Debian. Well, it's a virtual machine of Debian, and I'm going to add Arch Linux to it as a dual boot. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up a terminal. And of course, this is Debian with DWM Window Manager. What I'm going to do is open up a terminal, and just to show you that indeed I'm in Debian 12 Bookworm. I'm in, my window manager is DWM. My terminal is ST, the simple terminal. Okay, and let's just do an HTOP. And we're running at, so this virtual machine has 4 processors, 4 gigs of RAM, 1 gig of swap, and we're running at 208 megabytes of RAM. Not bad, eh? I digress. So what I want to do is quit out of there. I'm going to clear the screen, and let's do an LSBLK. This virtual machine of Debian is a 50 gig hard drive. And what I'm going to do is partition it to 25 gig. And then I'm going to make a 25 gig install of Arch Linux. Now I'm going to use, let's just get out of there. I'm going to use Gparted to partition a drive. Now you can download Gparted in your Debian install and have it downloaded as an app, Gparted app, in your Debian install, but you won't be able to partition the drive that way because you can't, Gparted won't let you partition a drive when you're mounted onto it or when you're logged into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power down this virtual machine, and I'm going to do sudo shut down now. Oh, I got to put my password in. And now we closed it down. I'm going to close this window. And what I'm going to do is, in my main production machine, I'm just going to open up another workspace here. So right now, I'm in my main production machine of Arch Linux with the awesome window manager. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to open up Firefox, and I'm going to type in Gparted. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to click this on, gparted.org. And I'm going to click on download, and I'm going to scan down. I'm going to scan down here, and I'm going to click on this one, download Gparted 1.7 AMD64.ISO. I'm going to download this, and it's 562 megabytes, but look how fast it's downloading. Downloading really fast. Just we're going to take 30 seconds. Okay, so it's downloaded. So now I'm going to open up a terminal, and I'm going to make this a little larger. And I'm going to CD into downloads. I'm going to copy Gparted. And this is optional. You really don't have to do this. But I'm going to copy it into my ISO folder because I have a folder for ISOs. And there it is. So this Gparted. It's an ISO. And I'm going to log onto it into my Debian install so I can partition my Debian drive. And think of it this way. This Gparted is an ISO. It's just like downloading an ISO of a Linux distribution. If you want to do this in bare metal, what you're going to have to do is, let's say you have a bare metal computer with Debian in it. So you're going to need 2 thumb drives. You're going to use 1 thumb drive to put the Arch Linux ISO on it. And you're going to use your 2nd thumb drive to put this Gparted ISO onto it. And then you're going to put this Gparted ISO into your bare metal computer that has Debian on it. You're going to boot onto it, and you're going to use it to partition your drive. Then you're going to shut down your computer, and then you're going to take the thumb drive out, and you're going to put the Arch Linux thumb drive that has ISO onto it, and make your computer into a dual boot. But I'm doing this in a virtual machine, so it's slightly different. It's not really different, it's just a little different, okay? I'm going to close this. And I'm going to open up my virtual machine. So this is my Debian virtual machine right here. And I'm going to open it and I'm going to make this full screen. I can't do that yet. So I'm going to make it kind of full screen. And I'm going to open this. And this is my virtual machine of Debian 12. I'm going to add the Gparted ISO to it. I'm going to go here and I'm going to browse. So this is the same as plugging a thumb drive into your computer and booting onto it, but it's all virtual, right? So I'm going to go into browse and I'm going to go to ISO folder, and there it is there, Gparted. So I'm going to open it on and I'm attaching the Gparted ISO to my Debian 12 virtual machine. Then I'm going to go to boot options. Oops, I have to apply it. So let's apply it. Now I'm going to go to boot options and I'm going to make the ISO my first boot. And I'm going to apply it and now I'm going to open it. I'm going to play the virtual machine. I'm going to open it and I'm going to make it full screen. So I'm just going to go into the Gparted default settings and there we are. So it's asking me if I want to change the key mat. I'm going to say no, don't change the key mat. And I'm sorry that this is a small font. I don't like doing my videos in small font, but I don't know, not sure how to change this. The language would you prefer is 33 is English by default, so I'm just going to hit enter. Which mode do you prefer? And the default is 0, so I'm just going to hit that. Now, and here we are. So now you just have to be careful if you're doing this, especially if you're doing this on a bare metal computer, that when you partition a bare metal computer or even a virtual machine that has an install already on it, you're in danger of damaging it and losing everything. Well, you won't damage your hard drive, but you're in danger of ruining your install and losing your information. You want to make sure that you have all sensitive information backed up on a thumb drive. This is my Debian install, my virtual machine of Debian. It's a 50 gig hard drive. So you can see right up here, Dev VDA1 is ext4, it's 49 gigs. And it's a 50 gig hard drive, but the Debian installer made a 1 gig swap. So this is my swap drive here, 1 gig, and this is 49 gig for my Debian install. And can I move that more to the middle? Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click on this, and I'm going to right click it. I'm going to resize. Okay, and now I'm going to go down here. I'm going to make it 25,000, and I'm going to resize it. Okay, so it split up the drive. You can see this 24.41 gigabyte VDA1 is where my Debian install is on, and I have 24.63 gigabyte unallocated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this green check mark to apply all. Are you sure? And I'm going to say yes, apply it. So it's applying it. It's shrinking the drive. Okay, so that took a good 5 minutes. It's finished and all operations successfully completed. So I'm going to close this window and now I'm going to get out of here. So we're going to click on this to exit. And now it's asking, I want to reboot or shut down. Let's shut down. I'm going to shut it down and remove live medium and hit enter. Okay. And now we're shut down. So if this was a bare metal computer, you're going to pull your thumb drive out and then you're going to take the thumb drive with Arch Linux and plug it in and boot onto that and install Arch Linux beside your Debian install. But because this is a virtual machine, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to change the CD. So I'm going to go into browse and I'm going to go to browse here and I'm going to go to my Arch folder, my March, Arch Linux, March iOS, and I'm going to click on Arch Linux iOS from March the 1st. And I'm going to open it and I'm going to apply it. And now I'm going to turn on my virtual machine, my Debian virtual machine, which is going to boot on to the Arch Linux ISO. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to click it on and I'm going to make it full screen. So what I'm going to do is kind of optional. What I'm going to do is let's set font tier -132B. Okay, that's better. And I'm going to do an LSBLK. So we can see VDA is a 50 gig hard drive. VDA1 is 24.4 gig, and that's where my Debian install is. And VDA5 is 975 megabytes. That's my swap partition in my Debian installation. Okay. Now, if you notice, we can't see the partition I made in Gparted. You can't see it. So what I'm going to do is CF disk, and now I'm going to hide my face just for a little bit. I hope I remember to turn it back on. And you can see here VDA1 is bootable. It's 24.4 gigabytes, and that's my Debian installation. If you go down to the bottom, VDA5 is the swap partition that the Debian installer gave me automatically when I did my Debian install. And this free space, 24.6 gigabytes, is the free space that we created with Gparted when we were logged on to that ISO. So I'm going to make sure that's highlighted. I'm going to click on New. And I'm going to leave it at 24.6 gigabytes. I'm going to hit Enter. And here it is here, VDA3. You can see at the bottom here, VDA3. And it's making it a Linux partition. And I'm going to go over here and make it bootable. Now we know it's bootable because there's an asterisk there. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to write it. I'm going to highlight right. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to type in yes. Now I'm going to quit. Now I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to do LSBLK. So now you can see in our list here, we have VDA3. It's 24.6 gigabytes. So now I'm going to make a file system for it. So I'm going to do mkfs period ext4 space /dev /VDA3. So mkfs stands for make file system. I'm making a Linux file system for my new partition. And that's done. Now I'm going to clear the screen. Now I'm going to do mkdir make directory /mnt/ Arch install. I'm going to hit enter. Now it was VDA5, right? I have to check it now. Yes. So now I'm going to, it's VDA3, sorry. So now I'm going to mount my new partition to Arch install. I'm going to type in mount dev VDA3, leave a space /mnt/ Arch install. There we go. And now I'm going to log into the Arch installer. I'm going to type in Arch install. And I'm going to go to locales, and I'm going to go to language. I'm going to go to English Canada. I'm going to go up here to English Canada. I'm going to go back. I'm going to skip mirrors because I already chose the mirrors before. But if you want, you can go into mirrors and you can pick mirrors from your particular country. But I already selected a mirror. So I'm going to skip down here. And I'm going to go to disk configuration. And I'm going to go to partitioning. So normally, when I do my installs, when I use Arch install, which is the automated Arch installer, normally I use best effort default partition layout, the first one at the top. But today I'm not going to use that, and I'm not going to go into manual partitioning. I'm going to go into pre-mounted configuration, and I'm going to hit enter, pre-mounted configuration. Now I'm going to type in /mnt/arch install. And I'm going to hit enter. Now I'm going to go back, skip disk encryption, swap. I'm going to say no. Bootloader is grub. That's good. And I'm going to go down to host name. I'm going to leave it as Arch Linux. I'm going to put my root password in. I'm going to put it in again. I'm going to make a user account. I'm going to add a user. I'm going to type in Mensch. Put Mensch's password in. Put his password in again. Make him sudo. Yes. Confirm and exit. I'm going to skip profile. I'm going to skip audio. I'm going to skip kernels. Network configuration is use network manager. Additional packages, I'm going to do vim git terminus font os prober. And I'm going to hit enter. And we can see we have that. Now, normally in my installs, I don't use os prober, but this time we're going to need it. And time zone, I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to go up to, I'm going to just do a / Eastern Canada. And now we're going to hit install. And would you like to continue? Yes. So we're going through the install, 153 packages. This is a base install. And I'm going to pause the video and come back. So don't go away. Okay, and we're done. Well, the base install is done. And I just realized that I forgot to turn my face back on. Not the first time I've done it, but I'm not going to I don't want to redo the video. So would you like to root into the newly installed installation? I'm going to say no. And I'm going to just do sudo. Oops, I don't need sudo. I'm going to do shut down now. And it shut down. So of course, if this was a bare metal computer, once it's shut down, you're going to pull out your thumb drive that has the Arch ISO on it. What I'm going to do is make sure that my thumb drive has been disconnected, and it hasn't. So I'm going to disconnect it. No media detected. And I'm just going to make sure my boot options are fixed. And I'm going to click off. I don't need to boot onto a CD anymore. And I'm going to apply it. And now we're going to log on to our system. So you can see it's automatically going into Arch. You're probably wondering where my Debian install is. We're going to deal with that after. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to finish my Arch install. I'm going to log into Mensch, put my password in. I'm going to do set font tier -132B, and I'm going to clear the screen. And I'm going to pull down my GitLab repository so I can finish my Arch install. Then I'm going to set things up so that we have the option of booting into Debian or Arch Linux. So I'm going to do git clone https://gitlab.com artibis1/mensch.git. And of course, this command is in the show notes of all my videos. I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to cd into Mensch. I'm going to ls it. I'm going to cd into Arch. ls it. On the far left, you can see a quarter ways down, I have an auto app, and above it, I have an auto app basic. So I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to type in /auto app B for basic, and I'm going to put my password in. I hit enter, 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 and it's installing 503 packages. I'm going to pause the video and come back, so don't go away. Okay, that didn't take long at all. So I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to run my config file. So I'm going to do /run, and I have a run basic config file. I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm going to cd out of there, and I'm going to do sudo vim etc password. I'm going to change my default shell to Zesh. I'm going to go down to Mensch, and this part I've done many times in many videos. And I think we're ready to reboot. Let's reboot. So now we're going to reboot into our Arch system that's, well, full installation of Arch. It should take me to LightDM, and it did. So in this install of Arch, I have Qtile and the Awesome Window Manager. I'm going to log into the Awesome Window Manager, and there we are. I don't need to see that. So we are in a full install of the Awesome Window Manager of Arch Linux. And I just going to, what am I going to do? I just want to change this to dark theme and Papyrus Dark and apply it. And let's get out of there and let's log out and just go back in. Oh, and I got to change this. This is not really part of the video. I just can't stand that the way it is. Show slider. Default should be white GNOME. Let's close it. And there we are. And let's just open up my file manager. So we're in a full install of Arch Linux with the Awesome Window Manager. Let's go into Xterm. Let's do a neo fetch. You can see we're in Arch Linux with the Awesome Window Manager, and we're running Xterm is our terminal. And let's just do an htop. So in this virtual machine of Arch Linux, I gave it 4 processors, 4 gigs of RAM, and no swap. And right now we're running at 337 megabytes of RAM. Not bad, eh? Okay, so now you're wondering, when you boot, what happened to your Debian install? Because this is a dual boot of Debian and Arch Linux. Where's the Debian install? How do you get into it? So I'm going to show you. So let's open up Xterm. I'm going to do lsblk. So we can see here, and can I just make that a little larger? So we can see this virtual machine is a 50 gig hard drive. VDA1 is 24.4 gigabytes, and that is where my Debian install is on, that partition. Then VDA3 is 24.6 gigabytes, is where this particular Arch install is on, that partition. And then VDA5 is a swap partition that the Debian installer gave me automatically. So what I want to do is I want to mount the VDA1. So right now we're in Arch Linux, right? The Arch Linux partition, and we can see it's mounted. You can see this dash here, the slash, it's mounted. I want to mount VDA1, which is my Debian partition. I want to mount it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type in sudo mount /dev VDA1. I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to type in /mnt. Oh, it's asking for my password, so I'm going to put my password in. Now I'm going to clear the screen, and now I'm going to do an lsblk. So now we can see my Debian install on VDA1 is mounted. Now I'm going to change into etc. Let's just clear the screen. I'm going to change into etc. I'm going to cd into default. I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to vim into, and actually I did that wrong because I got a sudo vim into grub. So I'm going to do sudo. You have to sudo vim into grub. There we are. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to change this 5 to a 15. So it's going to give me a 15-second countdown when I'm booting into the system, so I can choose whether I want to log into Debian or log into Arch. Okay, and you can make it longer. You can make it 20 or 30 or whatever, right? Then I'm going to scan down, and I'm going to go to the very bottom. And line 63, I am going to activate that line. So I'm going to take the hashtag out and activate that line. And then I'm going to go up to line 54. I'm going to activate this line. So why I'm doing this, line 54, what I want is, what's going to happen is when you're booting into the system, the menu is going to come up and it's going to give you the option of booting into Arch Linux or Debian. But Arch Linux is going to be at the top. It's always going to be the default. So I'm activating line 54 so that the last one I was booted into will be the default. Now, you don't have to activate line 54. And if you don't, Arch Linux will always be the default. But like I said, you're going to have 15 seconds to make a choice, and you can change that to 20 seconds or 30 seconds if you want. Now I'm going to go to the top, and we got to change line 3. Take the 0 out, and I'm going to put saved. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to save the file, and now we have to make grub. I'm going to cd out of there, and I'm going to type in, and let's just make that a little smaller, eh? I'm going to, let's clear the screen. Let's do make grub config space -o. That's an O and not a 0. Space boot /grub, /grub config. I think I did that right. Oh, gotta run that sudo. I forgot. Let's clear the screen and let's just type in. So that's the line. Let's just type in sudo and hit enter. And we're making grub. So we know it worked. Number 1, it says done here. And number 2, look at found Debian 12 bookworm on dev VDA1. So we know it worked. Okay. So let's reboot. Let's see what happens. So now, see here, we have a countdown. Counting down. Okay. Sorry, if I use my arrows, I can stop the countdown. So we have Arch Linux. So Arch Linux is always going to be at the top. It's going to be the default. But we set it so that it's always going to remember the last login. So Arch Linux is here, and here we have Debian. So let's boot into Debian. And there we are, we're at Debian. If we click on here, we can see in Debian, we have the Cinnamon desktop, the awesome window manager, and DWM. Because this is the Debian install that I used for my last video when I showed you how to install DWM from source. I'm going to type in mensch. I'm going to put my password in. And now we're in pure Debian with the DWM window manager. And I'm going to hit Alt Enter, opens up my terminal, and let's just do a neo fetch. We're in Debian 12 bookworm. My window manager is DWM. My terminal is ST, the simple terminal. And let's just do an HTOP. And wow. So like I said, this Debian install has 4 processors, 4 gigs of RAM, 1 gig of swap, and we're running at 239 megabytes of RAM. Not bad, eh? And let's reboot. Sudo reboot. Put my password in, and let's see if it remembers, because we programmed it so it's going to go into the last one. Now, if you see, we have a countdown from 15 seconds going down. But you can see it's automatically going to go into Debian because you can see Debian is highlighted and it has the asterisk there. So it remembers our last entry. Okay, so now we're going to log back into Debian. There we are. Let's put my name in, my password in, and now we're logged back into Debian with the DWM window manager. Let's open up a terminal and let's reboot. In Debian, when you're rebooting and shutting down, you have to do sudo because this is pure Debian. Let's reboot. Let's just make sure we can get back into Arch Linux. Okay, so we got 15 seconds. You can see the default was Debian because that's the last one we were in. But when I touch my arrows, it's going to stop the countdown. And I'm going to go up to Arch Linux. I'm going to hit enter. Let's make sure we can get into Arch Linux. Then I'm going to close the video. There we are. And in Arch Linux, we have Qtile or the awesome window manager. Let's go and put my password in. Now we're in Arch Linux with the awesome window manager. And I'm going to open up Xterm and type in neofetch. And you can see we're in Arch Linux. I'm running the awesome window manager. My terminal is Xterm. Let's do an htop. And like I said, this one has 4 processors, 4 gigs of RAM, no swap, and I'm running at 302 megabytes. So actually, Debian with the DWM window manager is running on less RAM than this is. And that's it. In this video, I showed you how if you have an install of Debian, pure Debian that is, regardless of whether it's in a bare metal computer or it's a virtual machine, I showed you how to take an installation of Debian, pure Debian, and how to partition the drive and install Arch Linux to it so that you have a dual boot of Debian and Arch Linux. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.